morning. Yesterday I went to help out building a house with Habitat for Humanity over in the Harambee neighborhood. And I realized something. I am not as young as I used to be. After about 5 hours of working on this house, I called my wife and I said, please come and get me an hour early.
Where's the Harambee neighborhood?
It's on Keefe, and the house is near Keefe and Bell Phillips,
Okay,
which is,
thanks a lot.
I guess, a little bit north of downtown Milwaukee. Not quite River West, so. But it was good. St. Mark's had a group of about 7 people that got together and took on this big project, so it's been good. It was an Advil night at my house. My wife's doing well. She's continuing to heal. The hard part now is getting her not to do stuff. She feels good. She wants to do all kinds of vacuuming and cleaning. I'm not doing a good job apparently, but she's got to slow down. Another week or so, 2 weeks, we'll see. This morning we have with us a very distinguished guest. She was my boss when I was a hospice chaplain like 10 years ago or something, and her name is Pastor Martha. There she is.
Good morning.
And she's going to be our preacher in a couple of weeks. So come for a second opinion. It's always good to get a second opinion. And she's going to be here and read. I will be in the Grand Tetons at my doctoral studies seminar. So I wish it was just camping and having fun, but there will be a lot of heavy lifting while we're there. But Sharon will be coming with us. So let us stand and join in our call to worship.
Today's reading is from the 20th chapter of Exodus, beginning at the 12th verse. Honor your father and your mother, so that your days may be long in the land that the Lord, your God, is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Here ends the lesson.
Oh, it's not worth coming all the way up here. So yes, we have commandment 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You honor your father and mother. You shall not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. And you shall not bear false witness. That's pretty good. That confirmation is kicking in. Well, these commandments were about 3,500 years old. And not for a minute would I say that they are obsolete. They still are really important. But I don't think they kind of go far enough, because I don't know any of you who have murdered anyone. But I think for us today, we would look at this and say that what if we turn this around and make it a positive? So instead of saying, well, we're not going to murder today, let's pat ourselves on the back, why don't we say, what could we do that would bring life to the world? That would bring life to the relationships that we have. That would bring life to us. Maybe you could go for a walk today. Fill your lungs with healthy air. Get out and do something. Maybe do some gardening. Not too much. Go work for Habitat. Bring some life into the world.
Maybe go to a picnic.
Go to a church picnic over on the east side. That'd be a good way to do it. I have a Bible study on Tuesday nights over at St. Mark's, the same Bible study I used to do on Tuesday nights here years ago called Lectio Divina, where we look at the scripture for the upcoming Sunday. And one of the people over there, his name is Mike, he heard this this little lesson, he said, maybe it's not enough just to not do the things that it says not to do. Maybe we need to expand on these a little bit. And I said, Mike, you're exactly right. In fact, the Jewish theological community of priests and scholars have done just that. They have something called a midrash, and it's where they write about things. And a lot of different priests rabbis have written about these 10 Commandments and turned them into something really positive. So it's not just a prohibit of something, but that we are actually going to do something really great. Now you think about all the things that have changed in the last 3,500 years. That's a lot, isn't it? At the time that the 10 Commandments were written, the time they were given to Moses to read to the people, this was a brand new idea. To have a list of things, a way of treating each other. And all of these commandments, not the first 3, but all of the last ones, have to do with how we treat each other. The first one, the 4th commandment, is honor your father and mother so that you will live long upon the earth. How many of you are caring for elderly parents or step-parents? Anybody? Okay? Some of us. You know who sees you do that? Your kids. And if you do it joyfully and with great respect, your kids will do it with great respect for you. I think that's what this commandment is all about. At the time of Moses, especially in Egypt, where they had just come from, there was a practice that when you got to be a certain age and you were no longer useful to the community, you would have a party and Grandma and Grandpa would be ushered out into the desert, never to be seen again. It's that farm that you bring your kids' dog to. It's where they can play all day long, right? We find that a little barbaric now. That instead, we're going to respect people as they grow old. We're going to love and care about them. We're going to let them live out whatever years naturally and sometimes with great lists of medication and needs. But because we care for them, our kids see that. And that's why we will have a long life. Because we value life and we treasure it. And when you get old, we don't throw people away. We treasure the wisdom and the relationships. You shall not kill or murder. I've talked that one through a little bit already. You shall not commit adultery. I grew up thinking that this was the commandment about sex. That's how I remember it. Commandment 6, sex. Sounds similar, doesn't it? But the midrash of rabbis about this is so much more. Because what the word adultery means is to make something that is pure become impure. Anything. So think about what are the pure things in your life. The really good things. Right? The beautiful things. It's a commandment that says to honor and cherish all of the wonderful, beautiful things in your life. And don't just throw them away. Don't ruin them. Don't adulterate them. When I used to teach confirmation, I would take a glass pitcher and fill it with red Kool-Aid. And I'd have another pitcher of milk. And I would say to the kids, would anybody like a little bit of red Kool-Aid? And everybody raised their hand. So I'd bring one kid up and have him taste the red Kool-Aid. And then about about milk. Does anybody like milk? Well, that was a little harder sell. But you always have some kid who just likes to be in front of everybody. Oh, I'll drink milk. So they come up here and then how was it? Oh, that was really good. A good cold glass of milk, especially if you have a cookie, is a good thing, right? And then I say, well, what if we take these two things and we mix them together in the same cup? Anybody want to try that? We have two things that are pure. They're different. I might say they're beautiful. But mixing them together doesn't always achieve something even better. Committing adultery is about ruining, destroying things that are pure, that are good, that are sacred. You shall not steal. Martin Luther, in his small catechism, says that not only should we not steal, but we should protect the stuff that other people have. We should help them to keep what is theirs and help them to also treasure what they have and who they are. You shall not bear false witness. I learned this the hard way. I remember I used to watch this TV show, and the main character, he was able to lie to anybody to get out of these difficult situations. And he always kind of got away with it. And I always thought, that's really cool. You know, someone who's like so good at manipulating the situation around him and the people that nothing ever sticks to them. And then I had a job working for faith incubators. And I would go around and I would teach pastors and youth leaders how to teach confirmation. In fact, the example I just told about is one of the ones that I would share with them, a way to explain it. And we had a 100% money-back guarantee, so that everybody who came to these conferences that I would speak at, if they weren't 100% satisfied, they could request a refund. Now, that had never happened. I mean, it's easy to make that sort of a claim, and maybe people weren't 100% happy, but they also weren't the kind of people who would say, I would like my money back. Until I was doing one in northern Illinois, and a man came there, he was a youth leader, and he had no intention, he had no money to pay for this conference, and so his intention was just to say, oh yeah, well, I wasn't 100% satisfied. And I would have applauded that, except my boss said, well, because he got his money back, we're taking it out of what we're paying you to do this conference. I'm like, well, that was never part of the agreement. And he said, and you're going to send him a sweatshirt. We had these little Faith Incubators logo sweatshirts. And thank him for coming and for spending time there. And I realized when I called him, he said, no, I was really actually 100% satisfied. I thought it was a fantastic convention. But I went there thinking, I don't have any money to pay for this, so I'm just going to say that I wasn't satisfied and get my money back. No harm, no foul. And I said, yeah, but actually, I had to pay for your registration and for this sweatshirt. And he says, oh, I'm really sorry. That was it. And I realized that sometimes we can have a great effect on other people. And it is, we have to protect them and their livelihood. Sometimes complaining about the service to get a free meal is going to have a really bad effect on the server. To be honest and to protect the reputation of other people. Yesterday during lunch at the Habitat House, there's a whole bunch of strangers who came to work on this house. We're sitting around having lunch, and everybody wanted to talk about the gas prices. Oh, I can't believe how expensive gas is. Oh, I can't believe how expensive groceries are. It was one thing that they didn't like after the next. Maybe it was just because everyone was kind of cranky and sore and tired. But I just couldn't, I just sat and I was listening and I thought, you know, there's sort of a camaraderie in negativity. And the world we live in, the culture we live in, feeds off of it, especially the news media. If they can say something really negative and get you to agree with them, you will tune in and watch and see what other negative things we're going to say. I think we need to be better than that. What if we tried to change the discourse in small talk instead of, oh, I can't believe, you know, what the gas prices are. Actually, I saw gas yesterday for $4.74, which I think is lower than it's been for a while. $4.64. See? Maybe it'll be $4.54 by the time I have to fill up. But what if we could be encouraging in our small talk and be hopeful? Instead of just, oh yeah, I can't believe this is going on. And a lot of this stuff comes out as political small talk. Oh, can you believe this? Who's doing this? And it's always them that are doing that. And what if instead we change the dialogue? We become positive. We lift one another up. We protect each other. And these commandments are not just about something 3,500 years ago, but they become a guiding force in our life for good, for positive change, to help us make our world better. Amen.